What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Networking channel. Giving a shout out to the rest of the crew: Shy, Kelvin, Jermaine, KB Film Room, Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right, that's right. For everyone who's tuning in, we hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, help make this show the best that it can be. Now, I wanted to mention this from last night, NBA recap. And the hottest team in the NBA over the last 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I should say, are the Houston Rockets. They have taken off like a rocket, and they have won 10 straight games. Now, they started out strong this year. Then they kind of struggled. They were winning games at home, but they were bad on the road. And after losing their starting center talent, Alperen Sengun, I thought their season was done. But with the brilliant coaching of Ime Udoka, he has turned their team around, and they are winning by committee. And they are now 2 games over 500, 37-35, a game out of the 10th spot behind the Golden State Warriors. And man, this is how I've envisioned the Western Conference to be ever since the new decade kicked in 4 years ago. We're now in year 24. This is the 23-24 NBA campaign, the 4th season in. And nothing is surprising me, but at the same time, it's still a shock because all of this is actually coming true. But that's why it's good. Now, I know you can't watch every game. I know you can't, it's impossible to do. But it's good to try to watch as much basketball as possible, as far as the NBA is concerned, where you get to see various teams and how they progress. And the Houston Rockets, had been down some years after James Harden left when he was traded to Brooklyn. And they also traded Russell Westbrook after he played for the team for 1 season. And they acquired a multitude of draft picks. And they used those picks to draft young talent in, such as Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Green. And then they signed key free agents and Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks for his defense, VanVleet for his championship moxie, and then Jeff Green coming off a championship playing with the Denver Nuggets last year. So now it's all starting to pay dividends down the stretch of this regular season, and they're the hottest team in the NBA. And this Western Conference is going to be a gauntlet for the foreseeable future. And it's going to be a tug of war. It's like, you have 9-10 games to go, but you really don't know who's going to advance outside of that play-in to qualify for the playoffs outright. This conference is deep. You have matchup advantages from one team to the next. And it really comes down to one key factor is health. I would say a second key factor is being able to adapt to where you don't rely on the three-point shot exclusively and execute down the stretch of these games in the fourth quarter. And that's pretty much going to be the winning formula. So in last night's action, the Houston Rockets forced overtime on the road to defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder, who was tied for first place in the West. And they're having a tremendous season. But nonetheless, Houston defeated the Thunder by the score of 132-126. And as you can see, the Rockets starting five, the entire starting five, scored in double figures, led by Amir Thompson, the rookie, Amir Thompson, who's doing a great job in filling in for Sengun, I would imagine. Well, Jabari Smith Jr. is now playing the 5 spot, the center position. But Amir Thompson, 25 points, 14 rebounds. This is a rookie. Jalen Green, 46 minutes, 37 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Jabari Smith Jr., 16 points, 3 rebounds. Dylan Brooks, though, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And that was a great acquisition by Houston in signing Dylan Brooks. I believe he got a raw deal. Playing for the Grizzlies last year, where they lost in the playoffs in the first round to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I believe he was scapegoated when he had been a cornerstone player for the Grizzlies prior to Ja Morant's arrival. He was there when the team was starting all over again from the bottom, working their way up. But nonetheless, a great acquisition by Houston. And like as I mentioned, Fred VanVleet, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. His steady presence as a floor leader and championship experience with the Toronto Raptors and the Houston Rockets. Something like this can carry over. Their momentum can carry over to next year as they continue to try to improve the team. And as I said, Jeff Green, 7 points coming off the bench, and they defeat the Thunder on the road. So they're 37-35. Like I said, this Western Conference, and see, this is the thing that gets me. There's too much young talent, too many good teams for the NBA to continue to ignore. And you have to start promoting these teams and this young talent, just as they did a generation before and the decade before. When those rookies who was coming in 2003, 2004, 2005, playing their prime years throughout the 2010s, they've had a shine. It's time to feature the new talent. And you can still show great appreciation for those veteran players. You don't want to shun nobody. But at this point, I believe it's going to have to happen. Now, the Denver Nuggets broke through last year and became champion. They are a prime team. But one of these other young teams is going to have to say, you know what? We finna take it and beat one of these veteran-laden teams that's in win-now mode. And then at that point, the NBA will have no other choice but to finally move forward. It is time, man. And I'm so excited about what I'm seeing as a fan of the league. And it's time. It's time. And you look at that Western Conference and other teams that's starting over again, like the San Antonio Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. You know they're going to improve. You know he's going to improve. Portland Trail Blazers trying to figure it out after losing this franchise player last year in Damian Lillard. They're trying to start all over again. So this conference is going to become airtight. It's going to be a juggernaut. It's going to go deeper than 8 deep or 10 deep. We're practically talking about 13 deep for the rest of the decade. So this is why it's important to build around your young talent, because the conference is so deep, you really can't afford. Let me put it this way. Certain teams in the Western Conference 4 years ago, and I'm gonna close out with this. They decided to go win now. Win now mode. They threw all the chips in the middle of the table. And maybe one instance where one of those teams succeeded, but they can't sustain because they gave up the young talent. I won't mention what team did that. I won't do that in this video, but it's not worth it. You're better off just building. You're better off because when these veteran teams, when they fall off, they're going to fall off hard. They're going to fall off hard because as far as free agency, that's not going to be the main, that's not going to be the primary option in terms of team building because your stars or young stars becoming superstars, they sign multi-year extensions with their current team or the team who drafted them. So they're not going anywhere. So it's better. Free agency really is going to be about signing like players who can come in and provide like a certain skill, such as rebounding or key shooter, spot up shooter, something to that effect. But as far as like a superstar, that wave is over. That wave is over. So I'm just excited, and I just want to give kudos to another young Layton team that's doing it the right way, not taking no shortcuts, and they won 10 straight. They won 10 straight. They clicking. The chemistry is there, and who knows when. Tell you the truth, the Houston Rockets, if Alperen Sengun is able to return back for the end of the regular season, they would be better equipped to compete in the play-in than, let's say, Golden State Warriors. Just because of the fact that they lack an interior presence. You know, they rely so much on shooting that it puts so much of a strain and pressure on the Steph Currys of the world, the Klay Thompson of the world. When their shots now falling, you know, Golden State really don't have an alternative. Now, you know, they played young talent such as John Kuminga. He's gotten more minutes and he has improved. But in the grand scheme of things, I believe Houston would be better equipped because they do have legitimate scoring threats inside the paint at the center position, at the forward spot, the power forward position. But I just want to throw that out there real quick. Kudos to the Houston Rockets. Winners of 10 games in a row out of nowhere. And here they are, a game out of 10th place, and they could possibly qualify for the play-in. And now they're winning road games at that. So this Western Conference is going to be a gauntlet, man. But I love it, though. I love it. Like I said, I gravitate to what's real. Shortcuts, it just mean it don't mean anything to me. It don't mean anything to me. But when you got your eyes for the prize and you take them steps, man, or as Michael Jordan say, there is no shortcut to greatness. I always think about that. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.